This man obviously needs no introduction. Keith Urban, thank you for chatting with Pure Country. I'm so excited about this.
Hi, Sophie. Nice to talk to you. How's Canada?
Yeah, Canada is sort of gloomy today and gray, and we're in spring, so the weather is up and down, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Heading in the right direction, though. That's good.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So I thought before we get started, for a little icebreaker, not for you, for me to settle my nerves a little bit, because I'm a huge, huge Keith Urban fan. I wanted to share with you something. And I would only share something so incredibly mortifying with you because I think you might get a kick out of it. So
Okay.
I'm such a huge fan of yours that one year at work for a Secret Santa gift, I was gifted. Are you ready? This.
What what is that? Is it a blanket?
It's
Is it
a Keith Urban pillowcase.
a pillowcase? Oh, it's just what everybody needs.
Um, so first of all, I would like to preface this with I have not actually ever used it, so no real creep factor there. However, it did bring to question whether you actually approve these things or are people just allowed to stick your face on whatever.
I hope I'm never allowed to just stick my face on whatever. They, well, you never, I mean, I do show up in unusual places, don't I? Look at that.
You sure
I'm
do.
on a
It
pillow.
scared the heck out of my dog, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and many people, I'm sure.
All right.
What
Well,
sort
of
of
course.
dog do you have, by the way?
Oh, I have a bull mastiff, and her name is Stella.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So is that Stella's bed right there then, is it?
Stella is actually right over here chewing on her blanket.
Not you chewing on my face would be hilarious.
No, she's not allowed to do
Yeah,
that. So we have a
okay.
ton to talk about. I wanted to start with your album Speed of Now and the title of it because it has a lot of meaning, and I wanted you to sort of be the person to tell us a little bit about the story behind the title, because for Keith Urban fans out there like myself, every single one of your records has really represents a time in a person's life, right? And things that they were going through. And that sort of spoke
Yeah.
to me when I saw the title of your album.
What did it say to you?
I thought, Keith Urban is a really good, I feel like every single one of your albums is the speed of now. Um,
Meaning this thing in the moment?
Yes, like, every single one of your records for me represents either like a heartbreak or a road trip or a memory that I share with friends in some capacity. And so when The Speed of Now came out, I thought that's so brilliant because I feel like it just encapsulates not just country music in general and how people relate to it, but really the power that your music actually has and how much it's changed with the times.
Thank you. It's a title that I think has continued to mean different things to me as this last 18 months or so, or thereabouts, last year and into this year has, for me, made it feel like the name just the meaning of it keeps evolving. And when I titled the album, which was at the end of 2019, it was really to do with how fast I felt like life was going at the time. We were doing a lot of touring. We went over to Europe and we were touring all through the States. And it just seemed like there was just more people everywhere I went. People were packed into things and crammed in places. And it was just so sort of almost claustrophobically fast. And I remember looking around thinking, God, is this sustainable? Just, and not from an environmental standpoint or anything like that necessarily. I just mean sort of being a human being. Is this how do we sustain this being a human being with technology and the speed of technology fighting with our speed as humans and all of this sort of crashing around us? And so the speed of now was just a comment on that, really. And then 2020 happened and it was like, oh my God, this is it stopped. Everything just stopped. And it went from 100 to like zero. And I hadn't put my record out yet. I was still working on it. And I remember thinking, well, this title doesn't mean anything. It did last year. And now, but some friends of mine to me, they said, well, well, the speed of now is very different to what it was last year. So it's always relative, and I think that's what your point is. The speed of now is always relative, um, but it is about being in the moment for sure. It's about what is the speed of now in my life and in what I'm doing, you know, and am I good with it? Am I good with the speed of now?
It seems like you're pretty good with it because you're doing all kinds of new things, new projects for the first time. I mean, as far as we're concerned, everything looks good to us.
Yes, yes, I'm very. I mean, I can't say I'm happy because I'm not touring, and I've never in my life put out an album and then not toured. I mean, and not touring's one thing, but not being allowed to tour, that's another thing. Like, it's not my choice. It's not the audience's choice. None of our choice. So there's new music, and I'm jonesing to play it live. Uh, and so much of what I do is live. I mean, that's what I live for. I live for being on stage and bringing these songs to life every night, and the audience making these songs become something more. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's. I was trying to think the other day what it's like playing to no audience, because we've obviously done it a lot with virtual gigs online, things like doing the ACMs last year, no audience, and all these situations where there's no audience. And I thought it's like dancing to no music. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
But there's a very important part of this missing. That's how important the audience is. They are the music to the dance. You know, otherwise I'm just up there dancing around with no music. That's what it feels like. So I'm desperately in need of the audience.
And so that kind of brings me to my next question. You've got the ACM Awards coming up for a
Mm.
second time. You're hosting during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what is that like for you? And do you think that's less pressure or more pressure on your hosting duties? Like, it's just because it's got to be really different to navigate.
Um, yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if it's pressure as much as it's just a different gig. I mean, I signed up to host the ACMs when it was going to be happening in Vegas in April 2020. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I've been to the ACMs many, many years here in Vegas. It's a party, it's rowdy, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, I'll come and host that. And it's like, okay, it's not going to be
Wah,
in
wah,
April, it's going to be in
wah.
September, it's going to be in Nashville, it's not going to be in the audience, you know. Um, but I really took to it because it became all about everybody at home watching right through this camera. It became about everybody at home. We were all at home anyway. And so it was how we were suddenly being connected. It was all to do with the camera. So I just took to that, and we made the best show we could. And I think the audience was really grateful for it. And we're back to do it again.
Yeah, it's almost like we're more connected in this way, which is sounds kind of strange to say.
Yeah, it's a synthetic connection, I
Yeah,
think.
that's true.
Like having best friends that you text with and never see. Like,
Yeah,
are they
that's
really
right.
best friends?
Hey, do you have any predictions on who might take home Entertainer of the Year?
Well, after last year being a tie, I haven't got a clue. You know, you never know right now. It's the cosmos is in an unusual place, so we'll see what happens.
It certainly is. Let's talk a little bit about collaborations. You've been doing a lot more of them in the latter half of your career, and everybody is always really excited to work with you, and not only on your own projects but for their projects. And so you've got a top 3 single in Canada right now with Pink, which was such a nice surprise, one too many. And when it happened, it was like the collaboration we didn't know we needed. And would love to hear your version of how that happened.
Thank you. I just always wanted to sing with her. I just love Pink. I always have, and always loved her voice, her artistry, and having never met her, really properly met her. I met her briefly at an award show one time, but I didn't really know her. I've just always liked her as a person. You know, everything I've read and heard about her as a person, I really liked, and always hoped I'd find a song for us to do. And One Too Many came along, and I sent it to her, and luckily she loved it, and boom, we got to do it together.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And really quick, just a straight, like, person to person conversation. You've been challenging yourself a lot over the years and really pushing your boundaries and sort of trying to do the best you can in everything that you do. And I was just wondering, if that was something that came with you and like you were born with, or is this something that's come with experience and time and your career and the evolution of your own personal life and everything sort of coming together?
Probably all the above. I think I've always strived to. I came from very, very hardworking parents. Both my mum and dad were really, very working class family. You know, my mum and dad ran a little corner store, and they had to run it 7 days a week. There was no time off. It was just work, 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 work. But they had an amazing work ethic, and they always did a great job of balancing family and work. You know, we were one of those families that lived in the little house attached to the store, one of those kind of things, right? You know, the little tiny little house that's like attached behind the little corner store. So we sort of lived and worked in the exact same place, but their work ethic really rubbed off on me and my brother. So I think I've just always had a good work ethic. I love working. I love the feeling of working. And then just real curiosity. I've got genuine curiosity about blending things together. You know, like what happens if I take this Fatboy Slim drum loop and put some Ganjo in there and get Breland to come in and then get Nile Rodgers and put this all together. And we end up with a song like Out the Cage, which is the opening track on the album. And it's just born of sheer musical curiosity.
Awesome. Well, we have to wrap things up. Keith, if you had told me years ago that I was going to be having a Zoom chat with you, I would have fallen down to the floor. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you're vertical.
Well, I do have this to save me just in case.
Oh, look at that. Look at this perfect segue.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you. Hopefully I'll see you in Canada very soon.
Okay, please do. Thank you.